Have a slight mishaps as the officials make sure everything is in its place. We have Amy Bonner, Ryan Sassano, and Ken Jones, the officials for today. Dream trying to also build off of their last win for their first preseason game against Chicago as Angel Reese tips it back to Ryan Howard and gets things going here at Gateway Center Arena. Right away, Ryan Howard getting the inside-out touch from Angel Reese, and good offense just didn't connect on the first shot.
Yeah, I expect a lot of threes to go up for Ryan Howard, the fastest player in the W to 3 or to 1,000, and Kiki Iriafen knocking it down for the first one for Washington.
Yeah, Kiki Iriafen, as we mentioned, one of those players that from a season ago shot 54% from the field, one of the most efficient you can find. And Alicia Gray with a quick strike.
That's something that she got better at last season, finishing off of 2 feet. Just the season before that, told her she wanted to address the out-of-control layups in the paint, and she did just that last season, which put her in the top of all players in the WNBA.
Yeah, finished 4th in MVP voting, as well as all WNBA first team in outstanding season last year for Alicia Gray. Another touch, Kiki Iriafen off the glass and misses the mark. It would be a shot clock violation, so great defense that we're seeing from Atlanta.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that as we see Carl Smesko.
Yeah, Carl Smesko in his second season. How about the first year that they had 30 wins? The first time a first-year head coach in the WNBA was able to log that number. So making history out of the gate for Carl Smesko, wanting to build on that this year.
And he wasn't even comfortable last season. I see a change in Carl so far this season, and Angel Reese doing what she can do, stretching the floor defensively and coming up with that steal.
2 turnovers for the Mystics. And there's about 2 minutes of play. Angel Reese getting her own rebound. You can put us on repeat for the season as she's done that very well over the last 2.
We talk about the seamless fit. The reason why that's such a seamless fit for Atlanta is because she put the ball on the floor, took it up, and they left her open defensively one-on-one. So what does she do? Just breaks down the defense and puts it at the rim.
Well, the rich get richer because Atlanta Dream coming off of a season where they were first in total rebounds in the WNBA as Sonia Citron hits on the move on the inside. Sonia Citron first in WNBA history for rookies with the most 10-plus point games. But going back to this for Angel Reese, rebounding and connecting.
You can talk about her pad and her stats all you want to, but all I see is a player who's aggressive at the rim, is tenacious, getting her offensive rebound. Could have been an and one on that one, but cleaning up the play, and is a big reason why Atlanta's excited to have her down there in the interior. During
the break, Cody McMahon picked up her first personal. Nas Hillman outside, couldn't connect, but she did a lot of that last season, including a game where she knocked down 5, and one of those was actually a game winner over Dallas.
Nas Hillman became the three-point threat. Whenever she put it up at the end of the season, fans expected it to go in.
8 on the shot clock. An inside touch to Lauren Betts, standing at 6'7" and able to finish over the outstretched hands.
Bruin on Bruin violence. Lauren Betts over Jordan Canada.
Georgia Amore off the turnover up top and a quick 5 for the Mystics.
Can you tell Georgia Amore has been waiting to see the floor preseason, just lighten it up.
Biggest lead for the Mystics coming out of the gate after that turnover. Sonia Citron had to play more of the point guard position with Georgia Amore being out and kind of got thrown into the fire as a freshman, or rookie rather.
And sometimes that works out good for you. Atlanta saw a little bit of that too, where they had injuries at that point guard position. So other players had to learn how to handle the rock. Sometimes that can pay off for your squad's depth.
Ryan Howard tried to run the passing lane and was able to deflect it, causing another turnover for the Mystics. Great. Gets it back at the wing. Just short. You can see that players are still trying to find their conditioning. Just the second preseason game for both teams. Actually, Washington dropping their first preseason game. Wow. Betts with the dive, and Angel Reese thinks otherwise, will be called for a foul on the attempt to block from behind.
Lauren Betts at 6'7", just putting pressure on the interior. And look at that, mouse in the house, catches it over Jordan Canada, who fronted Betts. And that's a bucket almost every single time. Atlanta's going to have to find an another option or answer for the 6'7" center inside, because she did that over 3 different white jerseys.
I do believe there are 5 Bruins that are represented between the two teams. You mentioned Biggs and Angel Reese. How about Bree Jones, another all-star for the Atlanta Dream, just in her 2nd season, right now sitting out because of a knee injury that she suffered overseas, right? What we're told is that she's day-to-day. We'll get more information as she progresses. We've been able to see her at practice. She's been doing a couple of the shooting drills and a lot of the assault bike.
But what a luxury for Atlanta. We talk about the depth, and that's one of the things that they addressed in the offseason with the moves to get Angel Reese and bring back Sika Kone. But we talk about the depth at the post, the front court position.
And that breaks the 8-0 run that the Mystics were on over the last 2 minutes, and instant offense for Tahina Paopao. A battle on the block between Angel Reese and Lauren Betts. Three on the shot clock. Iriafin, short. And here comes Tahina Paopao, who has made an impact in her short time on the court so far. Ryan Howard saying move the ball, directing. One of the leaders, captains on this team. Naz Hillman, quick pass on the inside, and Angel Reese finishes on the right.
Excellent vision by Naz Hillman, an excellent seal by Angel Reese. I'm not sure why Cody McMahon left help side defense down there to get to her man, because Angel Reese had sealed inside of the paint.
Cody McMahon out of Ole Miss, spent her first 3 seasons out of Ohio State. One of the 3 players that were picked for the Mystics in the first round in the draft, as Lauren Betts with another bucket.
That's going to be a problem. We're seeing the resurgence of the true big in the WNBA coming back this season. And Lauren Betts, somebody's going to have to answer for her.
Ryan Howard with a nice take, draws the foul, and we'll have a couple of substitutions coming in for both sides.
This is a big reason why Atlanta is so excited to have Angel Reese. She can do a bit of this, waits for the defense to clear out, and just takes it one-on-one. Atlanta's down by 4. She's excited and looking forward to growing up in the WNBA and just continuing to work hard. With such a little experience behind her, the Dream know that her best basketball is yet to be played and is in front of her.
Yeah, the 3-time executive GM for the Atlanta Dream, and Dan Padover was speaking to that, Tabitha. He said, we believe her best basketball is ahead of her and a great talent with an unlimited upside. And you think about her career to this point, just 5 years that she's been able to play basketball. How excited you get if you come to the practice, if you come to the training camp, where we were able to see how good she can be and just have a soft touch underneath.
We're also excited in Atlanta just about the mobility of a true big. Okad is 6'5", 6'6", but she can put the ball on the deck. We were talking before the break about the resurgence of the true big. Well, Okad is definitely one of them.
So after the 8-0 run that the Mystics were on, they were up 10-4. Atlanta has been able to surge back. Right now they're on a 7-2 run and cause the turnover, get the ball back.
And that speaks exactly to both what you were saying and Tanisha Batiste was telling us coming back from the break. Carl Smesko wants to see if his defense improves, and that 7-2 run is behind the defense.
The ball was blocked into the hands of Angel Reese, but she was able to draw the contact, something that she does very well, getting to the free throw line.
And she also, again, added this to her bag. Just look at her take the ball, put it on the deck, and take Iriafin off the dribble. And that is where you get the disadvantage on the deep, or the advantage over the defense, right? You can get them a step back, take them off the dribble, and draw those fouls.
Knocks down the first of the pair. Shot about 76% last season from the free throw line. Ryan Howard will come out of the ball game, as Isabel Borlaise will check out. Lucy Olsen also on the floor for the Washington Mystics. Was actually drafted last season, 23rd overall in the 2nd round. And Rory Harmon, another draftee out of this year's draft. 6 total that the Mystics had. 34th overall for Rory Harmon, and it's in and out for her. The Texas great did so many great things, back-to-back Final Four appearances.
Out the gate, shot the 3. Can you tell that a lot of these rookies are playing for roster spots, the final spots in the last regular season or last preseason home game? Harmon, look at that career at Texas, over 10 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists. And we saw her coach constantly bringing her up throughout the tournament about the accolades that she deserves because of the numbers that she was putting up.
Yeah, it was absolutely phenomenal what she was being able to do. We already mentioned the back-to-back Final Four appearances, actually got put out of the NCAA tournament by her now teammate, Lauren Betts and Angela Dugalich. So Angel Reese charged with the foul on this take.
And again, we talk about finding the answer for Lauren Betts, but that's a good job for Betts. One, to position her body, put the ball on the deck, and get Reese at a disadvantage. But now you have Reese with 2 fouls in just the first quarter.
Lauren Betts' second trip to the free throw line, as what Tanitra Batiste was mentioning about Medina Okot. We now get to see on full display as she gets a resounding round of applause. The Atlanta Dream being able to go in the draft in back-to-back season and take the South Carolina Gamecocks. Tahina Pow being able to come in, 13th overall last year. 16th and then 13th with Medina Okot this year.
And when Okot came in, you could hear all the South Carolina fans in the building.
Corey Harmon surveying the land, finds Lauren Betts, and just off the mark, but that is a shot that she can decide to pull it out, run the offense. And you mentioned it, right now, 12 roster spots are being fought for. 5 are guaranteed right now for multi-year deals with Atlanta bringing back their core. So everyone else really trying to find who the spots are going to be.
And I think for Washington, it's extremely important because of all the rookies that they have. We talk about the 9 rookies on their squad, but we've also got Area Finn and Citron, who are just sophomores in this league, and they're calling them vets on this team. So they're all going to pull it out here on the floor and leave it all out here on the deck. I feel like we're seeing the college all-stars.
Oh, absolutely.
The last 2 seasons.
But that says a lot about how much talent has been able to come through the college ranks. And I know that we've been trying to grow accustomed to what teams they are coming from, but how they have been able to be developed. And we've seen even the coverage grow on the NCAA side. So now those household names are being carried over to the W. And what a better time. The growth of women's basketball has gone through the roof, but I won't limit it just to women's basketball. It's been women's sports across the board.
And right there you see the effect that Medina Okot and Sika Kone have on the 6'7" Lauren Betts on the interior.
Yeah, Medina Okot, the first game for the preseason, she finished with 14 points and 11 rebounds. She can absolutely add blocks to that stat line as well. Jordan Canada sends it back out. Sika Kone off the deck, off the glass, it in.
Angel, to me, that is one of the X factors for the Atlanta Dream, Sika Kone. We've got 6'3", and we talk about all the front court players being able to put the ball on the deck. Well, she is a definite mismatch out there on the court.
Can also knock it down from outside. That's something that Carl Smesko loves. She can also deflect. And finishes for back-to-back buckets for Sika Kone.
I love the energy that Kone brings at both ends of the floor. Just look at her talking, getting everybody in position defensively. Exactly what Carl Smesko wants to see.
Biggest lead for Atlanta, who has surged with the reserves coming in for Atlanta.
And look at this defense to offense, the length of Sika Kone. She affects that, blocks the pass, and then takes it full court, outrunning any of the other post players down the court. And that's the way you get an easy 2 in transition.
There has been no drop-off for Atlanta going to the bench, as Alicia Gray will take a seat. And another rookie, India Navarre, out of North Carolina, will step onto the floor. Known for her defensive prowess, has gone against Sonia Citron a time or 2 in their time in the ACC. Checks in, and India Navarre will be assessed her first foul of the ball game.
And what's interesting about that, she was the smallest player going up for that rebound, but you talk about her defensive tenacity. I mean, she's a guard that likes to get physical. She's aggressive. She doesn't just do it on the steal. She's going to go for the rebounds as well.
So with that foul, it puts Washington in the bonus for the final minute and 27 seconds this quarter. And she drains two and blows a kiss to the crowd. 2-point ball game. It's been a fun one to watch. And a sense of desperation for players trying to make their mark on the final roster. That's knocked out of bounds by Lauren Betts as Atlanta will get in on the baseline.
And you know what, Angel? I think it'll be fun to watch in the regular season as well, because just like last season, what we saw with Washington was they're very similar in style of play to Atlanta and the kind of players that they have on the floor.
India Navarre, a true workhorse.
Where Georgia Amore can't recover off that three and fouls Jordan Canada on the shot.
What a year Jordan Canada had last season as well. 1,000 career assists, 2,000 career points. A player that also picked up her career high at a 30 ball last season as well. And when she is healthy, that is when Atlanta is arguably at their best.
And you talk about that 30 ball that she had. Well, that came after 2 of her injuries. She missed 15 games last season, and that 30-point game came after that. So she had to have a lot of mental toughness to come back last season and do exactly what she did.
Angel Reese was able to deflect on the inside. Mystics retrieved it. 5 on the shot clock. Amore pulls up, top of the key, in and out. Iria Finn with a rebound and a quick dish to Betts. Lauren Betts now with 9 points in the ball game. Ryan Howard. Dish it on the inside, Angel Reese.
I love that move by Reese because it showed how smart she is and how smart she's become in her 3rd season at the offensive end. Did a nice little hop step to go past Georgia Amore, who was setting up for the offensive foul.
Has this been a battle of the bigs?
I love it.
8 points for Angel Reese, 9 for Lauren Betts. They're guarding one another. Kiki Iriafin in on the action and kisses it off the glass. Ryan Howard just short of knocking it down before the quarter in an exciting one. 20 points plus for both Atlanta, though, with the edge by 3 after the first.
It's been a fun one to watch, and I love the battle of the bigs. We got Angel Reese going up over Lauren Betts. Come back and you'll see some more of that for the next 3 quarters. The Mystics have 10+ points in the paint, and they're getting it done from the free throw line as well, drawing fouls on each other. We talked about the answer for Lauren Betts at 6'7" on the interior because she drew those 2 fouls on Angel Reese. And then you saw Carl Smesko and staff bring in Medina Okot and show some depth for the Atlanta Dream. So I'm excited to continue to see how the rotations play out in the front court for both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. And you'd be remiss if we didn't mention Kiki Iriafin, also with 6 points, shooting 50% from the field. She is now on the floor in the absence of Lauren Betts to start the 2nd quarter. And an offensive foul, an illegal swing at the top of the key. That will go against Iriafin. That'll be her 2nd.
Pay attention to how vocal Angel Reese has been. I know she wasn't exactly in that play, but what you saw on that one was her come over, say good job, dap her teammate up, and that's something that she's gotten comfortable with on this Dream roster very quick and very fast.
If you've been at training camp, communication is a non-negotiable. Carl Smesko holding his team accountable to do the small things in that department. When Canada off the mark as the rebound is ripped down and goes to the Mystics.
Look at the defense of Jordan Canada. Then Angel Reese with a deflection, just defenders all over the place for the Dream.
Atlanta finding ways to string buckets together. They had a 7-point swing, down by 2. And up by 5. Angel Reese on the inside, double teamed. Still got bumped. We'll have more free throws coming up.
I like the connection, but right there, India Navarre saying that's on me as far as the kind of pass, and this is where the chemistry needs to come in at, because that was the wrong angle that led Angel Reese to go into the defense versus away from it.
The biggest thing for Cindy Johnson, the head coach for the Mystics in his second season, is now, while he's coaching up Georgia Amore on the sideline, now what he does with Kiki Iriafen, who has 3 fouls in this ball game.
What's interesting about Sid Johnson is some of his vets are just second-year players, and he's relying on some of his younger players to coach up some of the rookies on the team. He's got 2 sophomores and Citron and Iriafen, but if you look at Georgia Amore, she's one of those sophomores, just didn't get a chance to touch the floor last season with that ACL injury at the beginning. But outside of that, they've only got 2 other vets on this team. So he's got to coach up his sophomores because he needs help with them coaching up the rookies.
Maite Cazorla checks in, as well as Holly Winterburn for the Atlanta Dream.
Run that thing back, Mo.
Mystics get it underneath, 14 on the shot clock. Dugalich tries to hand it off, and right away, a foul committed. And actually, Cazorla saying, ooh, I don't know about that one. We still haven't had the infamous finger wag in preseason yet.
And we've got the confused look from Carl Smesto as well, because he likes what he sees defensively coming off that screen. Cazorla just tying up Georgia Amore. Oh,
and a quick take by Sonia Citron.
Sonia Citron hung in the air for a little bit on that one. She looked like one of the WNBA All-Stars, which she did make the All-Star team last season.
The first time that they've had multiple All-Stars on a team that were rookies since the 1999 season for the Orlando Miracle. And what an emphatic block by Kiki Iriafen. But another foul will be assessed against her that should be 4.
I love the response from Angel Reese, though, because we've been talking about the big on bigs inside, and Iriafen tired of getting bullied, but Angel Reese says, bring it. I'm going to keep on going on the inside, and this is what I love about her game. They clear it out and allowed her to put it on the deck and take it one-on-one, and Angel says, I want all the smoke.
So there's some communication right now with the head official, Amy Bonner, and Kiki Iriafen trying to plead her case for why there was a foul before the initial foul for her. And talking about the bump in, what I want most for people to understand is like how you approach the officials. And a lot of respect for Kiki Iriafen, trying to get an understanding of what she can do better, as she does have the 4 fouls in a little over a quarter and a half.
And that's tough. That's the exact reason why Angel Reese was clapping, because as much as she loved the emphatic block, Kiki Iriafen has to go take a seat on the bench.
Lauren Betts does check back into the ball game, though. Georgia Amore calls her own number in and out, and she's had a couple of those today. Angel Reese snatches the rebound, brings the ball up the floor. Seen a lot of the point forward from Angel Reese in the last season. And the take just off the mark. She wanted that one bad.
But has a smile on her face, and I'm digging the mentality, because when the competition comes, she's going to strike back and not back down.
The double team comes on the weak side for Winterburn. More movement, and Amore finally drains one from outside.
Well, I'll give you this much. Washington moves the basketball very well, and Georgia Amore, with such a quick release, is ready as soon as that ball snaps back to her.
2 threes gone down already for Georgia Amore. She's with 6. Ryan Howard sitting with 2 points. Sends it to Winterburn. Excuse me. Howard off. Atlanta Dream were a team that made the most threes from a season ago. Adding that, everyone has that green light. There's an outside look for Dugalich, just short.
And she can hit that shot from that range. She did it all last season for the Bruins.
So with another turnover for Atlanta, the Mystics will get it back. That's the 3rd of the ball game. Nas Hillman will check out. As Alicia Gray and Medina Ocott, as well as Sika Kone checking in for the Dream. 6:50 left in the first half. Atlanta had the three-point edge in the first quarter. It's been a fun one to see. It doesn't feel like a preseason
At
game.
all. You took the words right out of my mouth. Are we in preseason? Because this is intense.
Maybe that pass felt like preseason. But the feel of this entire ball game has been a lot of fun as we are gearing things up for the official start on May 8th for the Atlanta Dream, the 30th season of the WNBA, celebrating all the ones that came before. As Medina Okot can do that too. Stretches the floor for the three.
I love me a center who can knock down a three-point shot. Medina Okot shooting the shots she's not comfortable with, but the shots that her coaches want her to take. And my goodness, bigs who can stretch the floor. Medina Okot not even hesitating on that three. Lauren Betts took a second too long to close out on that three, and Okot said it's going up and it's going down.
Now, Dawn Staley was hoping she could get one more year out of Medina Okot, but thrilled to see for the Atlanta Dream fans who celebrated heavily, knowing that Medina Okot is now given an opportunity with the Atlanta Dream. A quick strike on the other side for Dugalich.
I knew the next one was going down because the first one was right off the tip as soon as she came in the game.
Foul up top. Lucy Olsen commits the foul. That'll be the first on Olsen. It will also be the break of the quarter. We're all tied up at 28. It's been a fun one here in the last preseason game. Stick around for a little bit more.
The teams that we've looked at this season with the biggest offseason moves, and Dallas and Las Vegas are two of those teams who are going to be contenders in this league, especially Vegas after winning the championship last season. I mean, those games right there are going to be highly competitive between the Dreams.
Yeah, absolutely. Tanitra has more.
Yeah, as we talked about earlier, defense was the focus of the first week of training camp for the Dream, and that's what Carl Smesko was focusing on in a couple timeouts. He said, hey, we need to deny the sweet spot for the Mystics so that they can't go high-low. We need to be able to attack better in transition, make them go sideways instead of downhill, and take away their options. But also, when they get into those ball screens, you've got to defend the ball screens better.
Thank you. Rory Harmon picked up the foul, and on the take, Medina Okot gets fouled. Cody McMahon doesn't like the call. By the way, Medina Okot, after a double-double in the first preseason game, what is she showing you today?
Well, she can put the basketball on the floor. She's doing things that are beyond what she's comfortable doing. That's what Carl Smesko was talking to me about. But it's the things that this team needs her to do for the future, and that's one of them. Put the ball on the court and create a mismatch, because at 6'5", 6'6", that is exactly what that is. She's a mobile big, and she creates a mismatch on any defender.
Okot with 4 points, has another opportunity on the floor. A couple substitutions, including Stephanie Jones, number 24 for the Atlanta Dream. She look familiar to you?
Looking like her sister. Plays like her too.
Her sister Bree Jones currently out right now due to the knee injury, but Stephanie Jones has spent some time in the league, actually. Had some time, 19 games with the Connecticut Sun. Also started with the Mystics in 2022.
And spent some time in Maryland, the same alma mater.
Wilson was able to put a couple of the moves on that turned the ball over for the 9th time for the Mystics. Gray mismanages, turns it over, and commits the foul. A 4 turnover for the Dream.
And this is where the defensive communication has to get better for Atlanta, because there were 3 players on that right side all in the same position. Alicia Gray had nowhere to go because all 3 defenders didn't have anywhere to go. We talk about training camp this week. Well, one of the things that Carl Smesko is stressing is spacing and keeping your defender out of the same space so that the offense has an option to be able to work. And right there, Leash had nowhere to go because all the defense was so concentrated in that right side.
Davina Pow, Ryan Howard back in the ball game for the Dream. Rory Harmon at the top of the key. Lauren Betts being guarded by Medina Okot. It's nice when you can combat size with size. Medina Okot at 6'6". She seems like she plays so much bigger than that, going against 6'7" Lauren Betts.
Well, she's also quick, and that's what I like about her. She's a mobile big, and she's versatile, and that's what drew the Dream's attention to her, getting her as a steal at the number 13 spot in the first round.
Dugalic up and under, up and in.
Another player from the Bruins who creates a mismatch. She's the 6th player of the year in the Big Ten and told media that she's just looking forward to soaking up from her teammates and being able to contribute.
Yeah, another foul committed at the top of the key by Cody McMahon. But going back to Dugalic, look at this footwork.
6'3", and is also a player who can stretch the floor, not only with her three-point shot, she's knocked down a couple of those from the extended range, but do just that, put the ball on the deck and create the mismatch.
Drafted 9th overall in this year's draft, coming off of an NCAA title. And what we thought was a foul by Cody McMahon is actually not. It'll go against Pow for an illegal. Medina Okot for an illegal screen.
And that's chemistry. That's all I see right there is Okot, a rookie, creating timing chemistry with Ryan Howard.
Backdoor, Olsen finishes. What a find by Lauren Betts. We applaud how she's able to finish, block shots, one of the best defenders, but also she's a great playmaker and passer.
And screener. Does a lot of things well.
You're telling me she's the most outstanding player of the NCAA tournament? Oh, got it.
I'm telling you she's the Big Ten player of the year, too.
Okay. Ryan Howard with the step back, Patton, but couldn't connect. Stephanie Jones couldn't steal the ball on the inbound. Corey Harmon so quick getting out. She's able to finish on the left.
I love how she used her teammate who was holding off Medina Okot. She went over the 6'6" size of her on that layup because of it.
Tahina Pow, same spot, same results. Trey's good.
Pow has been on point this entire week through training camp, through the game in Chicago in preseason, up till today. That three has been smooth.
6 points, says Lauren Betts. The middy's good as well.
Angel, she's a problem. She is a problem for any matchup in the WNBA.
Medina was able to get it back, just short on the putback. Roy Harmon looking to see who's running with her up the floor. Dugalic stretched out short on the tape.
Bit of a heat check on that one.
Maybe. Dugalic actually only had 3 starts with UCLA this season, but that's how deep that team was on their run in the NCAA for the title. And an offensive foul going against, defensive foul. Cody McMahon picking up her 2nd foul.
Let's get a little chippy out here, so let's get back to some offense. Tahina Pow knocking down the 3-point shot. She's got Atlanta within 3. Hopefully she can get some more of those coming back.
5 points, 3 rebounds in 6 minutes of play for Medina Okot. Stephanie Jones at the free throw line for Atlanta during a foul right before the break. Atlanta in the bonus the rest of the way. 2:43 left in the first half. Angel Gray, top of the Turner, and Tanisha Batiste here for you for the last preseason game for both teams. We're just ready to get things started. This is almost like an appetizer for the season. It's been fun to see the stars take the floor, but a lot of stars are out right now too. For Washington, Nyla Harris, one of the players from UNC, Michaela Onyenwere and Shakira Austin out. Lauren Betts with the touch on the block. And she is making her name on that left block.
No help side defense able to come over and help out Angel Reese, should I say, and I agree with that decision.
Offensive foul. Angel Reese tried to go over Georgia Amore, instead picks up the foul. That'll be her 3rd.
And credit Georgia Amore, who is just a menace on the defensive end. Right here does a good job of switching, and that's exactly, you cut off any kind of angle, any kind of gap where the offensive player can split the defense, and Georgia Amore showing how good of a defender she is right on that play.
So the officials gather as both teams have been able to go back to their benches and speak with their coaches. The officials, we have not been told what is being looked at. And what we've been told for Ryan Sassano is that they are looking at the monitor for a possible upgrade, as there was a take, and also maybe looking at the elbow for Angel Reese going against Georgia Amore.
And
above the shoulders.
That's tough just because of the size differential, right? So Angel Reese, I can tell you right now, that was not done on purpose if there was any contact, because that's what you're taught to do when you swim over.
Yep.
As a guard or anybody putting the ball on the deck, you are told when the defender steps in like that, if you want to get over the defense, that's how you do it. Unfortunately, the size discrepancy between Angel Reese and Georgia Amore puts Angel Reese's elbows right where the face is of Georgia Amore, creating that contact.
Two things you look for: excessive and basketball move. So you mentioned it. You see that you were saying that it doesn't look like this should be upgraded because it's a basketball move.
I do think it's a basketball move, okay. Absolutely. I do. Now, was it excessive is another question. But it is a basketball play because we have seen this time and time again in the league.
And as you, did we count the preseason for?
Yes.
Okay, we'll count the preseason for you. Amy Bonner able to come over and say it is a common foul.
I got some making up to do for last season.
Yeah, your percentages were way off, sis. I'm sorry. But it's a new day. It's a new year. Either way, the Mystics will get the ball back on the sideline. Prosper will take it in to Georgia Amore. Angel Reese, as we mentioned, with the 3 fouls, will take a seat.
Solid stat line, though. 10 points, 4 of 6 from the free throw line. Clean up a few of the defensive fouls. And, I mean, you got a good all-around game. Sandra Prosper showing some length at the rim. I thought she was about to grab the rim on the way down.
Prosper had 9 points and 5 rebounds in the first preseason game coming out of Notre Dame, the rookie. One of those highlights for them this season, a team that got to the Elite 8. As Tahina Pow off the deck and a nice connect.
She read the defense perfectly on that one. Realized she had Amore all by herself, and she had the baseline dribble. Just beat her on the first step.
May I add that I feel like Tahina Pow is one of the players that has improved the most from a season ago, and not just from how good she has been from outside. We know she's lethal from outside, but it's what Carl Smesko said about her after the first preseason game. He said she kept everyone together. Her communication kept everyone together. Angel Reese sang her praises, and just from a season ago to see the rookie grow in that department is really impressive.
Well, in the first quarter, we talked about the opportunities through injuries for other players to handle the basketball in the minutes that they're not normally used to handling it. And Tahina Pow was one of those last season when Jordan Canada missed those 15, 16 games. You had Pow who had to step in to sometimes a starting role and lead this team. And through that, she's gained that experience, which allows her to step into this, should I say, championship caliber team for Atlanta and be a good depth piece at the point guard position.
Well, nationally, that's what people are saying. Atlanta Dream, one of the 4 teams, as that goes off the back foot. Maite Cazorla, that'll be the 7th turnover for Atlanta, but a lot of the conversation has been the contender aspect. And Alicia Gray not holding any punch and saying, I think the trade with Angel Reese puts us over the top. And this is a team, as there's a steal and a turnover for the Mystics. Top of the key, India Navarre, just off the mark. Oka. Beautiful finish on the side as Atlanta continues to push their way. 39-42, Mystics still with the advantage. Blocked by Okat.
Playing both sides of the basketball, defense to offense.
Final 30 seconds of the half. About half that time to deal with for the Atlanta Dream is Taylor Fury enters the chat. Ties it up at 42.
This is the 2nd and 3rd rotation for the Atlanta Dream, and they're just seamless out there, defense to offense.
Got a 3-second difference between game and shot clock. Carzola with the assignment of Citron. Lauren Betts got India Navarre in the air and cashed out.
Come on now, she hit the fake, got the defense going left and just shot it. 17-foot extended.
2 seconds left. India Navarre sends it to Oka. 3 ball, wide right. And that will do it for the Atlanta Dream. And the Mystics here at half, just a 2-point ball game. The Mystics with the advantage.
The depth of the Atlanta Dream, bringing this team back to within 2. And just showcase.
Proven to be lethal. 8 points for her. A combined 17 points for Medina Okot and Angel Reese. She has 10. The only Dream player in double figures is Reese. We'll get things started. The Mystics start off the second half with the rock. And a foul right out of the gate. That'll go against Medina Okot. That'll be our second, and we'll send it to Tanitra.
Yeah, so I had an opportunity to speak with Coach LaToya Sanders at halftime, and she said, hey, we're not playing Dream defense. We're not playing Dream basketball. We're letting the Mystics get easy post-ups, letting them turn into their pick and rolls, and that's something that we have to stop. We've got to focus on what we worked on in the first week of training camp, and you guys were talking about it before. Lauren Betts with 15 points in that first half, and also this Mystics team shooting from 57% overall, and she said, hey, we've just got to contain her. We have to make her shots difficult and make sure that we make them work for every single shot, and that'll be the defense that leads to the offense that we just saw from the Dream.
A quick three from the outside for Taylor Thier. She's knocked down 2 of those today.
We hear Tina Pow talk about the confidence and the coaches wanting them to shoot. Well, that goes to every player on this Dream team. Taylor Thier showcasing it full at the three-point line.
Georgia Amore dancing with the rock at the top of the key. Couldn't finish. Winterburn, scoop and up.
Winterburn turned on the Jets at the last second. She saw Lauren Betts as a shadow creeping up behind her. Didn't want to get her shot blocked.
That makes me a little nervous too, I have to admit. Sonia Citron didn't like the look going against Holly Winterburn. Off the mark, and she gets the rebound.
She missed that move, but Sonia Citron, just such a pro body, pro moves, the way she just turns her offense on and has slowed down the game at the pro level.
No starters on the floor for the Atlanta Dream. The starters on the floor for the Mystics. 4 on the shot clock. Turnover. 8 for Atlanta. Georgia Amore, who started off her career at Virginia Tech, was able to get them to their first Final Four under Kenny Brooks. Then took her last year at Kentucky, where she was first all-team, and that's blocked by Medina Okot. For a second, I thought we were going to see the nastiest crossover. Instead, a turnover, and Lauren Betts again for 2.
You know, maybe that's something that we can work on throughout the season for Medina Okot. She's added the three-point shot, maybe bringing the ball up the floor. We got to work on that a little bit, but I like what I'm seeing as far as the ability and the want to do new things and extend your game.
Coach Mesco said sometimes with her being just in basketball realm, only 5 years, you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
And so the naivety of just stepping on the floor and going for it, just playing basketball, we just saw that. So he had a little look after that play, but Angel Reese, as Tanitra opened up the show with, talking about how she's been able to mentor Medina Okot as Georgia Amore scoops it in.
And right there defensively, if you're Medina Okot, you want to cut off that lane to the basket for Georgia Amore on that switch.
Okot left alone and just off the back iron. Iriafin fouled on the putback. A 1-point game, and the Mystics can extend their lead at the free throw line here with 2 for Kiki.
You talk about players who are trying to make the cut and make a roster. Well, for Atlanta, that's pretty much all 5 players on the floor. Of course, we know Medina Okot was drafted to Atlanta, the number 13 spot, but everybody out here trying to make a cut. On the previous play, we saw Stephanie Jones do a good job of sealing out Betts, but on that one right there in the post, didn't get a chance to seal out Iriafin, which allowed her to get the offensive rebound to this free throw shot.
You talked about the players trying to make sure that they are making the roster for the Mystics too. They are loaded when you think about the talent that they have coming back. Michaela Onyenwere able to come back. The coach for UCLA Bruins, now teammates with 2 of her players. She is out right now due to a left leg injury. Hoping to see her come back soon. Shakira Austin, reconditioning, so she is currently on the bench for the Mystics. And then Nyla Harris, as we mentioned, out right now with A left leg injury too. Shakira Austin having one of her most impressive years last season with the Mystics. Actually got the comeback player of the year. And the numbers and how efficient she's been able to do, stacking that up with the 2021 Rookie of the Year in the WNBA and Michaela Onwede when she was with the New York Liberty. This is a team that is very close to making a lot of noise in this league.
And I love what I heard from Michaela Onwede before the game. I caught up with her after she was doing some of her conditioning coming back. But just talking about her coaching with UCLA and how that's just helped her. And I asked her what we expect to see from her game. Misses it. But she says she expects her game to get better on the court because teaching is the best way to learn. And holding them accountable is going to hold her accountable on the floor when she's able to come back as well.
Jones tried to dive on the floor to prevent the turnover. Nothing there for Amy Bonner. A lot of contact, though, as Kiki Iriafen took the bump and the bucket. That is good. She'll get one at the charity stripe.
And a good job by Kiki Iriafen to avoid the contact. You had Jones stepping in right here who does the right job of trying to take the charge. But Iriafen sidesteps it at the last second and gets the and one. And that's just a player with reps under her belt. She's doing a lot of chippy talking in this game, too. I'm excited to see what Iriafen brings this season. 10 points, 50% from fouls. 3 of those going against Angel Reese in the first half.
And Kiki Iriafen coming off of a season where we said the duo with Sonia Citron and how impressive they've been able to do. I like the little kiss to the crowd after the free throw make. Past Crystal Langhorn and Shamika Holsclaw for the most defensive rebounds in a single season.
And offensive rebounds as well. She set the rookie record in that area as well. So defensive plus offensive means that she set the rookie record for total rebounds. So that's 3 different categories for Iriafen. Just her rookie season.
Yeah, had 114 offensive rebounds. She'll take a seat for Sydney Johnson. Lori Harmon on the floor, Drew Galich, as well as Cody McMahon. Almost want to see what more Cody McMahon can show. A player that was to the likes of an engine going down the floor.
And I think she's shown mostly her defense in this game so far today. I think that's where she knows she can make an impact.
Sandra Prosper picking up her second foul of the ball game. That's just the 3rd on the Mystics. Holly Witchburn will take it out on the sideline. Atlanta, who finished 30-14 last season, made it to the playoffs for the last 3 seasons. Said, how do we continue to get better? And a couple of players trying to show why they need to be a part of the conversation to make a push as a contender this season.
And part of the conversation with some of the high caliber players as Nina Paopao comes up with the steal.
Theory, can she make it 3? The stop. Sika Kone was right under the basket, had a weird angle, couldn't connect. The pace of this game is quick. Lori Harmon well short on the 3.
But going back to our conversation, a lot of the players, the core players for Atlanta, going to the coaches and telling them what they needed. And that's exactly what they went out and did. Credit the executive, the WNBA Executive of the Year, Dan Padover, for making it happen. They went out and got Angel Reese, and then also Medina Okot in the draft, addressing the size issue that Atlanta had for the past few seasons.
During the trade, we'll have to give up a first rounder, and next year and the following year to the Chicago Sky. Only dropping 1 player that was in the starting rotation, so Brittany Griner now with the Connecticut Sun. Taylor Theory couldn't finish underneath. Up top, 3 ball off. So a foul underneath will give it to the Mystics after a foul for Taylor Theory. The last 4, it's been a complete youth movement.
I mean, credit Sydney Johnson and his staff for not only drafting to their capabilities, but also building on this roster. they've had to go through a few years of youth and just seasons that were losing seasons, quite frankly. But I think they've got something here. Both of us talking during the break at how good this Washington team is. And they were good last year. I feel like they surpassed a lot of expectations behind Kiki Iriafen and Sonia Citron. We're kind of in the playoff mix when they weren't supposed to, but you got to credit the coaching from Sid Johnson and his staff for putting this together for a second year straight.
And you look at the record from them a season ago, and you can't think about them being that team this season. 16-28 that they finished last year, as this is the biggest lead for the Mystics right now. They didn't have Georgia Amore, Sonia Citron, and Kiki Iriafen. You were wondering what the rookies were going to look like in their first year. They made history and became one of the best duos as rookies. 2 All-Stars, as we mentioned, too, for the first time from a franchise since 1999. But also you get Shakira Austin. You get the
scary
experience for them. And last year I remember looking at you and saying, wait a minute, this is a team that we can't look past. And I don't think many teams did.
And I don't think many teams will after seeing this game with Atlanta. Both these teams just contenders and showing how much depth and talent that they can showcase on the floor.
Rory Harmon showing her depth that she can take the ball to the rack. Sika Kone, a player that has been so versatile for Atlanta the last season. Seeing if she can make that final roster spot. Medina Okot on the inside, and the pass was just short.
Great hesitation dribble, just the one jab step to get the defense off and take that to the rim.
Mariana Little-Page-Buggs able to hit the bucket, get some celebratory high fives as she's heading to her bench. And then extends the lead for the Mystics.
And right here, just a good job of getting the defense off kilter. And if you're Carl Smesco, you want your defense to communicate and move their feet a bit better than that. They didn't talk on the switch or whether or not there was going to be a switch. And I know Carl Smesco and his staff is saying something to his players, or about to say something to his players about the defense that they're showcasing on the floor right now with this 13-point Washington lead.
17-6 advantage the Mystics have in the third quarter over Atlanta. So they have struggled to find buckets in the third. The starters did not start for Atlanta, and then the starters were in the second half. And then the Mystics starters were quickly taken out after that as well. But this is a team I feel like for, as you mentioned, Sydney Johnson, regardless of if you're a starter or not, I feel like they're trying to build going into the season of what this team can be together.
Absolutely, and I think they're plugging all the holes that they need to fill. I mean, they're contenders in the paint. They're contenders at the guard position, and on both sides of the basketball, they've got two-way players who can go defense to offense. They've got speed on this team with Georgia Amore at the point. And you talk about Sonia Citron through injuries last season having to take on some ball handling responsibilities. Well, she's only got better in that area, so she can do some backup responsibilities with handling the basketball. But my goodness, they've got so much depth and talent and size on this Washington roster.
Washington on a 17-1 run. Tanisha has more.
And one of the things Coach Carl Smesco talked about in that timeout was rebounding, focusing on that. And he liked that this team has said, hey, if they get it, we got to get back, and he got to do a better job of protecting the ball as well. Also, he said he wants to see a little more toughness out of his team defensively. And then Angel Reese really vocal with the bigs in that huddle, and them both saying, hey, guard those guards and make sure that they can't get the dribble to the basket.
Thanks, Anitra.
And Angel, that's exactly what we were just talking about, the switches defensively to Carl Smesco and Tanisha Batista's point. He wants more communication out there.
One-on-one coverage, Medina Okot going against Dugalich. Footwork is pure.
So impressive how she doesn't get rattled. She doesn't get sped up. She's always playing at her own speed. And I told Carl Smesco, that was one of the comments I had to him in training camp. I said, Medina Okot just looked like she was steady in her first preseason game. And just look at the footwork, the timing, the patience to recognize what the defense was giving her and what angle she had an advantage at the basket, just looking like a pro all around in her rookie season.
The Mystics fouled on the take, and so they are now in the bonus As Olsen off the mark for the first. Winterburn checks back in. She'll come in. Or Isabel Borlaise. Taylor Theory will take a seat as well. What is Taylor Theory, a player that only scored 6 points all season last year? What has she shown you so far through these first 2 preseason games?
More effort, more energy. I feel comfortable saying this because Taylor Theory is a player who's getting better in this area, and I just love the relationship that both her and Carl Smesko has. It's like a dad to his daughter. But Taylor Theory, the confidence that her teammates are pouring into her in training camp to not hesitate to shoot the rock, and she's got 2 made threes in this game. Remember, her first made basket last season was a 3, and that came later on in the year. This is a player who had an injury at the end of last season, so mentally there can be a lot of ups and downs throughout her first season, but she's responded in training camp and is showing that she wants to make the roster at both ends of the floor, defense to offense.
Hit 1 3 all season last year. And so when you see how much work has gone into it for her to knock down already a couple here in this ball game. Drafted 37th overall last year from Ohio State, as Atlanta able to cut into the lead from the free throw line. 62-55 advantage now for the Mystics.
And guess who that first basket came against for Taylor Theory?
I'm not sure.
Washington.
I kind of figured it was, but I was just going to let you bring that one home.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Trivia. Washington on June 15th, her first made basket. It was a 3 against the Mystics.
Still in another turnover for Washington. That's the 12th of the ball game. Deep seal, just couldn't connect for Medina Okot. Dugalich able to tap it from behind, Rory Harmon.
And again, that's a chemistry issue, knowing where your post wants the basketball, the angles, playing with each other.
So Maite Cazorla picks up the foul, her 3rd. Both teams in the bonus. Very aggressive look from both sides. Everyone's getting warmed up here.
And Cazorla, we talk about her. We haven't seen her name a lot, but this is a player in her 2nd stint with the Atlanta Dream. Originally was drafted back in 2019, number 23 overall to the Dream. And she played 31 of 34 games as a rookie, just another player out of the Pac-12. And there goes Oregon again. We were talking previously about the game and all the Oregon players who just got spread out in the NCAA. Tahina Pau is one of them who left Oregon and eventually went to South Carolina. But Cazorla, a player who's seen some time with Atlanta already.
Tahina Pau, of course, leaving Oregon and then being a part of that undefeated team for South Carolina, winning the title. Coming to Atlanta and seeing her dreams come true on the professional level. Fell out of the hands of India Navarre. 2 on the shot clock. Still no shot on the rim. And that'll be a shot clock violation. And the ball goes back to the Mystics. Taylor Theory will check back in.
And again, you got Taylor Theory, who's a player who, yes, she didn't see as many minutes last season, but amongst the players on the floor so far, has played the most outside of Cazorla in a Dream uniform most recently. So to me, bringing her back in is more of a settled down effect for the players who are currently on the floor right now. And she looks poised.
Always, though. I mean, always.
Yeah, she does. She doesn't really get rattled either.
Wilson stopped, guarded by India Navarre. How speedy is Cazorla? As you mentioned, we may be seeing different looks this season, but Cazorla's being able to come back, as you mentioned, from 2019. We've had eyes on Sika Kone, Taylor Theory from a season ago as well.
And when we talk about Maite Cazorla at the free throw line, just another trivia question for you. She had a season-high 6 assists as a rookie on June 23rd. Can you guess against which team?
Washington.
Exactly. Good job.
I think I'm doing good in this department now.
but a lot of highs coming against this Washington team. So the rivalry has already been set, and I feel like we're going to have one going into this season with the way that first half went.
Well, when you mentioned as a backdoor cut, beautiful dime from Dugalich to Olsen. This team has shared the ball well. 15, now 16 assists on 24 made field goals. Atlanta has had some trouble taking care of the ball. 15 on the game. High hedge, Rory Harmon had to think about it. 10 on the shot clock. What a finish by Dugalich.
Good defense, even better offense. Navarre had cut her off and got back to the spot, but the length and size and versatility of Dugalich allowed her to just elevate over the defense and knock that one down.
6 on the shot clock outside, bounces around and on the part that is illegal. So the Mystics will get the ball back. 3.3 left as Orlays will check back in for India Navarre.
Coaches in this situation are looking for players who are going to dig in on the defensive end. What can you show me when I need some depth, when I need somebody to fill in for a player who's in foul trouble at the end of a shot clock?
Half-court heave by Rory Harmon off the mark. But they were on mark all third quarter. 13-point advantage for the Mystics as they got outscored. Atlanta being outscored 22-11 in the third frame. Taylor Theory, though, she's been putting on a show from outside, and Kiki Iriafin just picking up where she left off. Big girl things. Toronto Tempo will be their first look.
I mean, again, all I see are 5 teams that's going to give them problems because every team is deep in the league this season with roster expansion, team expansion. A lot of teams have depth and a lot of players want to make the roster like Orlays.
Yeah, absolutely. Portland Fire also being the team that's been added. Tenitra can add.
Yeah, Coach Carl said in that fourth quarter, what he wants to see is this team communicate a little bit more. And then if you know Coach Smeshko, you know he has a little tongue-in-cheek and he says, hey, are the Mystics too physical for us? And of course, everybody said no. He says, okay, good. Then I want to see more on the defensive side of the ball. I want to see technique. And offensively, before ball screens, he wants to see more movement. So far, the Dream only had 11 assists, of course, assist on that last bucket, but ultimately he wants to see that ball move and be in at least 3 players' hands before.
Assist-wise, he wants to see more assists because it's too much one-on-one, too many turnovers, which is what we had before the break for Atlanta. Carl Smeshko wants to see things cleaned up a bit more, wants to see which players are going to respond to his calling out here on the floor and who can help them win games down the stretch.
It's all about the fit, all about who can fill in their role to the best of their ability. They're trying to make a roster in the WNBA.
And we talk about the things that are transferable from Carl Smeshko from the college level at Florida Gulf Coast to the pro level. And talking to Carl, a lot of their systems, a lot of the things, the teachings that they train and teach in training camp are the similar or either the same as what it was at Florida Gulf Coast. They haven't changed a lot to their system. So he knows what he's talking about.
Cassandra Prosper was fouled by Taylor Theory. Strong take on the left side as we were just having the conversation. Tenitra had mentioned the physicality and the sense of urgency we've seen from Washington in this ball game. I think going back to the point defensively, that has been something we've seen in training camp for Coach Smeshko, as that is the baseline in what they want to build on. Atlanta was 4th in offense, 3rd in opposing points per game for teams last season, but still felt like they could have been better. And speaking with Ryan Howard at training camp, she said, this is something that we need. Yes, I'm excited that we can actually put some offense together, you know, during the preseason. But she mentioned we were the best defensive team for the first 3 minutes of a ball game and the worst defensive team in the last 2 minutes of a ball game. They're trying to fine-tune it now so they can improve that if they want to be the contenders they've mentioned in the preseason.
One of my favorite quotes from a coach is, and yes, that is a travel from OCOT, but one of my favorite quotes coaching is you are your habits when you get tired, which means that the things that you've practiced, the things that you're used to doing, they're all going to come out when you are tired. And to me, that talk that you had with Ryan Howard, where they're the best defensive team in the first few minutes and the worst in the last few minutes, speaks directly to that, because the mistakes and the lack of communication you make when you are tired.
I don't know, maybe Holly Winterburn said I can add on the defensive end, gets the pick 6 on the other side, makes it a 9-point game.
Winterburn, another Oregon product, spent one season, 2019 through 20. Known for her shooting, playmaking ability, high basketball IQ, just overall versatile player.
The 2024 Euro Cup Women's Champion. Look at the fight for Kiki Iriafen. 4 white jerseys around her. She plays with an edge.
And the size of Winterburn, defense to offense. She stands at 5'11", which makes her the perfect defender on the wing, just using her length and getting out to create that steal to the 2 at the opposite end.
Defense.
I just love the addition of that turnaround fadeaway shot as Cody McMahon tries to come up with the steal, knocks it out of bounds. But just that turnaround fadeaway jumper to create the space from the defense is such a pro move from the European sector that I love, that's been added to the American game.
Offensive foul that'll go against Maite Cazorla. She knew it right away. Just drop the ball. You know, some players just like, you know, I'm not even going to debate.
Hey guys, we're headed this way. Just come on back down.
Defense.
Might have been a late whistle there, but Cody McMahon on the take got fouled. They say there was contact to the head, and so she'll get 2 free throws. This will be free throws 20 and 21 coming up for the Mystics. It's been about even. Atlanta has shot 23.
Cott not agreeing with that call. She's not going to let you know it over and over again. She's more of the quiet type. But just a good job by Cody McMahon using the other side of the basket to elude or evade the defense and get away from the length of Okot.
Kiki Iriafen will take a seat along with Olsen, Lauren Betts, and Rory Harmon back in the ball game for the Mystics. Cody McMahon, the 11th pick in the draft. Actually, happy belated birthday. She celebrated a birthday yesterday.
Ryan Howard was this past week as well. Nas Hillman earlier in April. So it's a string of birthdays.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy birthday to all. The dish on the inside. But the canny ability of Lauren Betts, you feel like you can get something on the inside, but with her wingspan, she can actually poke from behind. So it has to be a precise pass when you're going against Lauren Betts.
But also having Lauren Betts back in the matchup, we haven't seen her in this second half up until now. But that's just what Okot brings to the floor, just the defensive presence that's needed to keep her out of the paint.
+7 on the ball game, 17 points, 4 rebounds in the 22 minutes of play, and Medina Okot is able to draw the foul there, and it looks like it's going against Lauren Betts.
And for the dream, for both teams, last season when you had a 6'7" player, drafting Medina Okot at number 13, this is what we can put in to combat 6'7". Bring in Medina Okot with her size, with her versatility and ability to capitalize inside of the paint.
A little too strong for the first attempt. Talk about the plus minus for Medina Okot off the bench. It's about even, 9 points and 6 rebounds for her. Couldn't connect on both from the free throw line and just off the hands. Some miscommunication at the top of the key.
And yelling at them, get the ball, because he thought that errant pass could have turned into transition at the other end. He wants them to be hungry, that hungry defensively if they want a roster spot on this team. chemistry.
Check it back in for ATL, India.
India Navarre will check back in for the Dream. Just under 7 minutes to play here in the fourth. I already mentioned, Washington Mystics will head to the Toronto Tempo for their first game of the regular season. That'll be on the 8th. And Atlanta will have to wait 1 day after that on the 9th, where they head to the Minnesota Lynx. They're start things off.
I love the move that's at contact, but also squaring up in the air and kind of just holding her own.
Goes down on the second attempt. We were talking about the schedule. We mentioned the Minnesota Lynx. How about Atlanta getting their look at the #1 overall draft pick in AZ Foot for the first time in just the second game? Paige Beckers, the reigning Rookie of the Year. For some stellar first year, as Cody McMahon on a nice take.
For some reason, that Dallas-Atlanta game, every single season that we've been on the call, just seems to be tough. It just seems to be a game that constantly goes down to the wires. Winterburn is not done.
Well, the team that put Atlanta out of the playoffs in that single elimination there on the road. And they had to find ways to get better. Alicia Gray also spending an extensive amount of time in Dallas to start her career. Now finding a home in 2023 after that trade. Medina Okot emphatically saying not in the paint.
And that's something that she brings that attracted her as a draft pick to the Dream.
Rory Harmon sneaky swipes it. And the 3 ball is good. Another bucket. Dariana Littlepage bug. Sika Kone couldn't track it off the rim, and it'll go back to Washington.
Excellent box out by Okot. But right here, just the defense that she's been playing for the Atlanta Dream. She's been boxing out. She's been blocking shots. She's also been doing a bit of offense. I want to see that again. Don't come in my paint, says Okot. Dream have got some room to make up.
Well, 2 players that bring a lot of understanding of experience and what it takes to win in the playoffs.
You've got relentless motors in those 2 players in Alana Smith and Jessica Shepard. You're talking about Smith, who's the co-defensive player of the year last season alongside Asia Wilson. So just being mentioned in the same breath as doing something similar as what she's doing is going to be an accolade. And then Jessica Shepard, such an elite rebounder and a knack for getting after the basketball. And then you bring in #1 overall pick in AZ Fudd. You've got some chemistry that's returning there between her and Beckers, both coming from UConn. So I'm excited to see how they put all those pieces together to go along with Arike Agumbawale, because she's a certified bucket at both ends of the floor.
If you didn't notice it in all of the game winners that she's been able to knock down, I'm not sure what else we need to show you.
Did it in college and in pros.
Medina was able to get the steal and a foul on India Navarre on the take. Dallas Wings actually considered one of the dark horses coming into this season. The Sparks as well. Ariel Atkins coming from Chicago going over. Rickea Jackson leaving LA and heading to Chicago, so a lot of movement there. It's weird to see the Minnesota Lynx as a dark horse. You break up the stud buds, there's a lot going on there. Phoenix Mercury actually didn't bring any teams over from in the offseason. One of the teams that was actually, you were wanting to see what they were going to do in the absence of Satsi Sabali, who went to New York. So also continues to be one of those teams that you keep an eye on as a dark horse.
Before we completely get off of Dallas, one player that I didn't mention, or going back to Dallas, Awak Kurir.
Oh, yes.
Didn't have time in the league last season, but Dallas convincing her to come back into the league. This is a #2 overall pick in previous seasons. I mean, just adding her length of versatility to the court is going to make them even more dangerous.
Dangerous indeed. Good thing no one is the absolute favorite for the W this season. Cody McMahon seeing a lot of what she was able to do at Ole Miss, as it's on the baseline and couldn't finish. So powerful, strong, getting to the rim with the 3 first-round draft picks for the Mystics.
She had 3 different first-team all-conferences between 2 different conferences, 2 in the Big Ten, 1 in the SEC. This is a player in Cody McMahon who's played all 133 games of her college career. So we're talking durability, dependability.
First-team All-SEC, and was the Big Ten Freshman of the Year. And if you didn't understand how quick she was on the take, it's because she also did track and field.
I can tell, but Gozzola showing her experience one season. It might have been a few seasons ago, but showing exactly why she wants a spot on this roster. She's been doing some steady offensive work for the Dream.
Ori Harmon lost the handle of the ball. Turnover. Here comes India Navarre. Finishes at the rim. Actually got hit in the process. No call, but finds a way to finish, and that's what Smesko is looking for. How you play through things at this point.
And also how the play started.
Yeah, but think about it too. A lot of the rookies, you're not going to get calls.
Yeah.
How do you play? You got to earn that moving forward.
And she earned a defense to offense. She created that offense from the steal on the break.
Cody McMahon is in the paint. You almost look at the bodies like bowling pins.
She's so strong. She's so strong. I mean, just look at her accolades. 97 games played at Ohio State, 36 at Ole Miss, and those are 2 power conferences that are known for their physicality in that style of play.
That's rattled in on the first attempt. Coach Yo at Ole Miss, the head coach there, being able to cover them over in the collegiate season, said it's one of the hardest working players she has ever coached. And just how she wanted to get better. Coming over to Ole Miss, wanting to be coached hard and challenged. That's a coach's dream, hearing how much someone wants to be challenged to be better.
And you can see it on the floor today. I mean, she's played most of this game from beginning to end. She started and has played 25 minutes so far in this one, but we've seen her be steady throughout during any rotation that the Mystics have put on the floor.
Ooh, beautiful dime. Winterburn with the finish. Cazorla, for a team, in my opinion, Atlanta, who has dealt with some depth issues at the point guard position. Jordan Canada sat out significant time with an injury, a block call, so that will go for Cody McMahon. She'll get 2 more free throws. Tahina Pau having to step in as a backup point guard with the injuries to Alisha Gray and Ryan Howard. Maybe this is something that they're looking for on who can be playmakers for this team as a backup as well.
Well, I'm interested in that answer as well. We've got Borlase, Winterburn, a lot of guards trying to do some work out here for Atlanta. Steady offense for them, but you know what? If Cody McMahon has anything to say about it, she's going to do just that. Phoenix, this is a player who she can bring a lot to the floor. It just depends on how well she can gel and have chemistry with her teammates. And I'm looking at how quickly they can do it. They have 7 new pieces that have been added, 5 through the offseason period and 2 through the draft. I'm just excited to see how they gel because they got some big names on that Chicago roster.
I know people look at Dejanay Carrington being added, Rukia Jackson, who's phenomenal, one of the best two-way players in the league, coming over from LA, but also JC Sheldon, who was absolutely phenomenal in the previous season, is someone to keep your eyes on. Azare Stevens has always been a part of winning programs.
And I'm gonna keep it a buck, Angel. 4 out of 5 of those players are known for their, not necessarily attitude, but their grit on the court. They have personalities, and that is, you know, that's saying it what it is. How can they gel together on the floor? floor and bring those personalities. Who's going to take a back seat? Who's going to take the last shot? How well can they have chemistry on that floor, and how quickly can they do it to get that season going? Because every team, there's not going to be any easy nights off. We're looking at the first 5 games for Washington for the Dream. There's no easy games in this league for anybody because there's so much depth in the league this season.
We keep asking, what is it going to look like? What is it going to look like? We got 5 days until the official tip-off for the 30th season of the WNBA.
I mean, just look at this game. Both coaches had to pretty much sit most of their starters after that first half because the game was so intense. It didn't look like a preseason game.
Walla in the game and able to connect underneath. Spent some time at UCLA, actually, before she went on to the challenge at Ole Miss. Teammates with Cody McMahon, another steal here. And it looks like she blew a tire. I'm just hoping that she's okay. Taking some time to get off the floor. So is able to walk off and gets a round of applause. So we'll send it to Tanitra.
Yeah, you talk about keeping a season going, and that's something that Coach Carl Smesco was kind of alluding to in that last time out, just saying, hey, at the end of the day, I want to see the push. I want to see the transition and the physicality and the energy, because there are a lot of ladies who are out there right now, players who are looking to make that the final roster cuts, of course, those imminent in the next few days ahead of the season. So important for them to have this final stretch and look good as this team decides to make cuts.
Yeah, absolutely. Madison Scott was a player that was able to get off the floor on the other side. Another player from Ole Miss. So 3 players on this roster with those affiliations. Buzzer 3, no good. Another shot clock violation for the Dream. It would be remiss to go an entire broadcast and not talk about the reigning champs.
Oh my
As
goodness.
we mentioned in the Las Vegas Aces. Right now, if you're looking at the favorites, they're second right behind the New York Liberty, as you mentioned so eloquently in halftime. But they were able to bring back with Sabrina Ionescu, you get Satu Sabali, Brianna Stewart. So
Jonquel
Jones, my goodness. They do have a new coaching staff. And Sandy Brondello will now be with Portland.
And what a statement to make. I mean, Sandy Brondello was a championship coach with this New York team just a couple seasons
2023.
ago. Just a few years ago, and they let her go. So they're saying, listen, we're looking to move forward. What they did say before making all these moves was our 3 returners in Stewart, Ionescu, and Jonquel Jones. Those, I like what those 3 pieces did for New York. They didn't take the Supermax deals that they could have taken. They took the max deals to make room for another superstar in Satu Sabali because they needed that depth.
The Aces, Asia Wilson and Joel Lloyd, who have combined for each of the last 3 scoring titles. Slight. And you have also Chelsea Gray, the point guard, GAWD, who has won 4 WNBA championships in her career. Did some damage at Unrivaled as well. So a team that absolutely continues to be dangerous.
Winterburn continuing to be dangerous out here. She's in double digits and is still playing defensively. She wants that last spot.
Oh, it's a full-out effort fest that we've been able to see from both sides. 7 on the shot clock. India Navarre tried to do the up and under. Winterburn, 3 ball and off. And that will do it for the final preseason game between Washington and Atlanta, 83-72. Sydney Johnson has to be happy with what he's been able to see from his young group. 10 rookies on the roster, hoping to improve from a season where they